Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وفي الآخرين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. We are reading the second point from the 18th word. We are discussing the verse, who has created everything in the best way. Chapter 32, verse number 7. Okay. Beneath the veil of stormy rains and muddy soil in the season of spring are hidden the smiles of innumerable beautiful flowers and well-ordered plants. Okay. Beneath the veil of stormy rains, so I'm imagining stormy rains and muddy soil in the season of spring are hidden the smiles of innumerable beautiful flowers and well-ordered plants. And behind the veils of the harsh destruction and mournful separations of autumn is the discharge from the duties of their lives of the amiable small animals, the friends of the coy or shy flowers, so as to preserve them from the blows and torments of winter events, which are manifestations of divine might and glory, and under the veil of which the way is paved for the new and beautiful spring. So the author is trying to explain or show us how we can see that everything has been created in the best way. And he means, the word everything, I think, literally. So it's interesting how he's using this notion of the veil. Anything you want to share here? I see a question on the side. Why is creation in this way? Would you like to share your thoughts? Go ahead, brother.
I put this question there, so it is my responsibility to say something about it as much as I can understand. So, what is going on in this world? There are, as the explanation of, or the examples given in the text, the winter seems to be very unpleasant and really disturbing human beings. On the other hand, the text says this is just a veil, because under this stormy rains or this unpleasant creation, you will see smiles of innumerable beautiful flowers and well-ordered plants behind the veil of beneath a veil of the harsh destruction and a mournful separation of autumn is the discharge from the duties of the lives of the amiable small animals, discharging them. So we understand that the author says these are the manifestations of divine might and glory, and under the veil of which the way is paved for the new and beautiful spring. As you read it, I said, why is creation in this way? I asked this question to myself, why don't we have always spring? Beautiful creation. Why? Why do we have to go through winter and then under the veil of this unpleasant creation, there is a wait 3 months later, you will, or 4 months later, you will have a pleasant creation. Why don't you create the pleasant spring straight away? So I thought about it. I said, if that is how I understood, if the creation was only one type, which means we could argue that spring, the beginning of spring is not very well, or it is beautiful, the flowers are there. And then changing, flowers are, the blossomed trees and the flowers of the plants are falling, and then leaves come out, are created. And then fruit or vegetable itself themselves are created. We understand we should not, in the following paragraph, the author will emphasize on the importance of this point. From our perspective, what is best, we want always this best form of creation should take place. But if it was so standard, the life was so standard, creation was so standard, how about these manifestations of the Creator's qualities, that those manifestations should also be standard, fixed? What does it mean? We have to understand that in order to demonstrate his infinite power, infinite qualities, the Creator must create infinite varieties of perfect things, so that human beings can see that, the source of existence has no limit to create all different various acts of creation or types of creation. That is how we can conclude that although the universe is transient, the things are passing from spring to fall and fall to winter, and then they come back to summer, the spring and summer again. We understand that everything is transient, but acts of creation is permanent. In a changing position, this is the only way that human beings can conclude in as far as taking for granted our already existing capacity, human capacity. We can understand that the creation is transient, and they are brought into existence, and they are taken out of existence, and the author of this universe creator is permanent. He is operating on everything. Otherwise, the things, if there was only one fixed creation, the things will look to human beings as if they are existing by themselves, sustaining their existence by themselves. Oh, it is a really very misleading understanding of the creator. And we wouldn't be able even to question who is doing this, who is operating, administrating this wonderful universe. Why? It is fixed. It is not changing. If it needs to be changed, then we have to see all kinds of varieties of acts of creation manifesting. We have to see it. That is what we need within our capacity. And the universe, we understand, is created according to our capacity, so that we understand, I am going to die, as the animate beings die mostly during winter, and I will be resurrected. Good news, as the spring demonstrates that, oh, it is not the end of existence. There is a new creation. Another way of understanding, that is another benefit from these various types of creation, is we understand that I am going to be resurrected as well, because I am dying, aging and dying. Beautiful scenario of creation is presented in our eyes. That is why people, as we are, we should never criticize anything created out there that we don't like. We have to see the purpose of the creator and understand the wisdom in this type of creation. Thank you.
Thank you. When you ask the question of why isn't it always spring? I don't know. I felt like it wouldn't be real. Like it wouldn't match me. If it's always spring, then I want to be always happy. I don't want to be in spring and sad, and in spring and mad. Like I would have to be as fixed as the spring. And that would be weird, or I don't know why it feels like an undesirable state to be in. So not only is it not going to show the manifestations, it's not going to tell me who I am. And as much as I want something to be consistent and stable, as much as I want something to be, there's some level of change. Okay. I just want to check in. Can you guys hear me okay?
There are friends here. One of them wants to say something. Shall we listen?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
My reflection is, like, I agree with the sister, and but for me, I don't want things to stay the same and happy all the time, spring all the time. And I feel like Dr. Ali was saying, how God created this universe so it can stay at our capacity to serve us the way we need it to. And I feel like to add on to that, I feel like we can learn a lot. And it's more than just the physical. It's more than just the homeostasis of how everything, the earth, it's not just about us humans. We have animals, we have plants, and they need this whole process, to go from being dead and back to life. I forgot the ayat from the Quran, but Allah can bring, the dead plants back to life, and there's a purpose behind all this. It also reminded me of how us humans, we learn and we appreciate through the lack of. So I can only appreciate food because I know the lack of no food, right? I can only appreciate the beautiful sun because I know what it's like to be blinded in the night, or it's just different, right? So I enjoy the summer and the nice breeze because I know what it's like to be in the bitter cold and freezing. So I just feel like that's yet another wisdom behind why we have this perfect balance. Yeah, I feel like I mean, that in a way is it's a test as well, because there are some people who live in Florida or something, but then they got the hurricane. So yeah, I feel like there is more wisdom than we know, even the weather itself.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'll continue reading. Beneath the veil of events like storms, earthquakes, and plague is the unfolding of numerous hidden immaterial flowers. The seeds of many potentialities which have not developed, sprout and grow beautiful on account of events which are apparently ugly. As though general upheavals and universal change are all immaterial rain. As though general upheavals and universal change are all immaterial rain. That's an interesting phrase, immaterial rain. But because man is both enamored of the apparent and is self-centered, he considers only the external and pronounces them ugly. Since he is self-centered, he reasons according to the result, which looks to himself and judges it to be ugly. Whereas if of their aims one looks to man, thousands look to their maker's names. This reminds me of a verse. I don't remember its in its precise words, but it's something like be careful not to like something when it's good for you versus when you like something that is bad for you. وعسى أن تحبون شيئا وهو شر لكم. I think. Yeah. That's it for me. If you want to add anything. Any questions or reflections? Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Again, another point at the end of the paragraph you read needs to be discussed a little bit and to be understood. The human beings reason according to result which looks to himself and judges it to be ugly. We mentioned that, although I don't want death, I don't want winter, but through creating the winter tells me there is a resurrection. Don't worry, the things disappear, but it doesn't mean that I, the creator is speaking, disappeared. No, I'm still here, but I'm showing you, demonstrating you that although this transient world shows that you are transient as well, but I am not. The transient world says the creator is not. So don't trust the world, trust me. That is a call, invitation. So don't expect the world to sustain your existence, your life, and satisfy your needs. I am the one who is going to do it. So it is an invitation from the Creator's side. But in this paragraph, it says the creation looks to its creator, or the thousands of their aspect. One aspect look to human being, but thousands of their aspect look to their maker's names. This is again interesting. Look to their maker's name. We mentioned a little bit earlier on today. Maker's names are infinite. We cannot count it. All the creation, in the creation, whatever we see in this creation, every quality in them, every science discipline studies the creation, goes into deep analysis of the qualities of the created beings, we understand that these qualities cannot be developed or these things cannot be the source of these qualities. They are unconscious matter. So what we do there, each quality demonstrates the manifestations of its creator, so that we understand, this is planned, and this has wisdom in its creation in this way. So it demonstrates that the creator knows what he's doing and makes it beautiful. So he knows that the conscious human beings love beautiful creation. That is why conscious beings will understand that my creator loves me and entertains me here with beautiful creation. So we can trust and also have hope that he will satisfy my own needs, because my needs are also infinite. So he has to, the creator has to manifest his infinite qualities in order to demonstrate that he has infinite qualities to satisfy my infinite needs. So this relationship, infinite needs, need infinite source of satisfaction. So if all these qualities are the manifestations of the one who creates the whole universe, it means he is beyond conception, beyond imagination of human being. But we understand that it must exist. So we can really rely for any kind of expectations, hopes, wishes that are given to us. We understand that these wishes are given to me by my creator in order to understand his capacity as infinite. Because I need everything perfect. I want not to suffer from any kind of fear and despair. Only this one can satisfy it. So I have to rely on his capacity. That is why creation looks to its creator thousands of various ways in order to let us really know what the source of satisfaction can be for me. So when we decide that, this is very bad, this is one aspect of it that is deriving from, this is because our not considering other things in its creation, being selfish there, oh, this is stormy today. The weather is stormy today. I felt cold, or I fell ill because of this. This was bad. This is a very self-centered consideration. But at the same time, there are other aspects that are manifested there. There are other wisdom manifested there, rather than thinking of the other aspects very selfishly, self-centric, and the temporary satisfaction. I may just label the creation at that moment, which I fell ill because of the stormy weather. I label it, it is a bad creation. No. I am harmed, yes. I feel pain, yes. But this pain has a purpose in its existence, so that you are needy. Without realizing our neediness, human neediness, we cannot realize what our owner is, who our Lord, Master, whatever you say, owner is. So that we will put our trust in him, because we are created. I am very thankful for this creation. We are created with the capacity, what was the point I was going to make? Oh yeah, we cannot get out of death. We cannot stop aging. This is our reality. I'm very thankful for this. If it wasn't so, I would never think of anything. I would do everything I want. And can you imagine? 7 billion people do everything they want. Because there is no end. There's no change. There's no death. So there is no responsibility. Not considering anything, anybody else but my own interest. The universe would be, the world would be in chaos, impossible. So we understand there is a sense of justice here. Whatever the government, how the government is horrible, administration is horrible, still the justice system is there. It may be misused, it may be mistreated, the justice system may mistreat somebody, and just somebody may exploit it. That is human side. But you cannot imagine any community without any justice system. So that is why we need justice. So if I am equal to a person who is very nice and I'm very harmful to my environment, to other people, if there is no justice, we will be equal when we die. Oh, it is contrary to our general sense. How is it called? What sense? Common sense. It is, it shouldn't be. When we say that death makes everything equal, why don't we say it shouldn't be? Does it make sense? No, it shouldn't be. Those people who killed and harmed or exploited innocent people, and those people who were honest, will be equal after death. It is not justice. It is contrary to our common sense, common practice. I think when we criticize the things we call evil creation and say that these are evil, label it as evil, then we are putting ourselves in trouble. Why? We are saying there should be no justice in this world, in the creation. But everything is created in a just way. Only human activities are maybe polluted with injustice. So it should be solved, right? Thank you.
Thank you. For example, man reckons to be harmful and meaningless. I think it's thorned plants and trees, which are among the great miracles of the Creator's power, whereas they are the well-equipped heroes of grasses and trees. And for example, hawks carrying sparrows is apparently incompatible with mercy. But through this harrying, the sparrow's abilities unfold. And for example, he considers the snow to be very cold and uninviting. But under that chilly, unpleasing veil, there are aims so warm and results so sweet. They defy description. Also, since man is self-centered and worships the apparent, and therefore judges everything according to the face that looks to him, he supposes, contrary to good manners, many things that are perfectly polite and correct. For example, in man's view, the discussion of his sexual organ is shameful, but this veil of shame is in the face which looks to man, whereas the faces that look to creation, art, and its aim and purposes are veils which, if considered with the eye of wisdom, are perfectly correct. Shame does not touch them at all. I just have one question. I don't understand the sentence. The one I highlighted, and I'm glad it's underlined.
Did you say question?
Yeah, I said I don't understand this sentence I highlighted.
You liked it. It is understandable, isn't it? Or does anyone of us have any question here about hawks really disturbing the sparrow, maybe catching and eating, but the sparrow runs away from it? That's the way how sparrow, it's an example, improves his ability. Exactly, human beings also, this aging, getting ill, feeling hungry, cold, very hot, lots of unpleasant things. So we make very strong buildings. Earthquake is there. So we take care of our health and understand the value of our health, as it is described before. Oh, I need health. Who's providing it? Question. All the, like these catastrophes, unpleasant creation, really like hawks, attacks on us. so that we will need to try to discover what is in creation, so that how can I really heat myself in a comfortable way during the cold season? How can I cool myself in a comfortable way during the heat season, summer? So we are discovering. So I have to go faster to some place because I need to go very quickly. How can I go? Only riding horses, the fastest, that's it. But I need even faster. So I investigate, find out aircrafts, all things. I wonder what's going on in the moon, on the other planets, or in other parts of the creation. Investigate. While I'm investigating how to go to other planets, what am I doing? I am discovering the secret values, qualities in creation. So when I discover it, I will admire even more about the one who established this order. So this order demonstrates in its secret, in the way it is created, the hidden qualities of the creator, so that we will admire more and more. And when we admire, when we learn more, when we admire more, we realize the more manifestations of the creator's qualities. This is what my spirit needs to develop, to improve itself, so that I will become very well conscious of my creator, or better consciousness in appreciating my creator. Therefore, I know my creator really takes care of the minute needs that 200 years ago people were not aware of. Now I have discovered, every century discovers something new. Unfolding scripts of creation is unfolding the qualities of the secret qualities that at first glance it is not apparent qualities of the creator. That is how we can become aware of the qualities of our creator, and that must be the purpose of our existence, to understand who my owner is, so that I will rely on him. So which kind of creator? It is easy to say that universe needs a creator. Yeah, which kind of creator is he? This question must be answered. I don't know whether it is helpful or not. It's a beautiful example, but we have to enlarge it, inshallah.
Yes.
Excuse me, could I make a comment?
Yeah, sure.
I actually really liked this passage that you highlighted a lot. I actually highlighted it myself. It's almost one of the things that's amazing about these readings is that in places it's, for me, incredibly poetic. I could never come up with this wording. I mean, the word hawks harrowing sparrows. It's really beautiful. It's yeah, so a hawk catches a sparrow, you feel it's you don't like it. The sparrow is struggling, it's gonna die. But as the author says, but through this harrying, the sparrow's abilities unfold. If this is my understanding, if the sparrow didn't have the hawk, there would be too many sparrows. So it's part of this incredible balance of creatures on the food chain. And the chain is in perfect order. Like if the sparrow didn't have the hawk, there'd be too many sparrows, which would then create a lot of disruption on the food chain. So although it looks like it's not mercy, it actually is mercy. And that's how I looked at this passage. I don't know if it made any sense. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. If you'd like to add anything for the rest of this paragraph. Okay. Well, the last paragraph of the second point is saying, thus, certain expressions of the all-wise Quran, the source of politeness and right conduct, are in accordance with these faces and veils. Beneath the apparent faces of creatures and events which seem to us to be ugly are extremely fine, wise art and beautiful faces looking to their creation, which look to their maker. So too there are numerous beautiful veils which conceal their wisdom, and moreover great numbers of apparent instances of this order and confusion which are most regular sacred writing. Is I have a question, but I'm not sure if it's a good question. It seems like the author is saying, like, if you consistently ask the question, what is it that I'm seeing? What does it mean? What's the wisdom behind it? That there is going to be something wise to be found, or that it's always going to end up that if everything becomes unveiled, then it is beautiful at the end of the unveiling. I mean, I want to think that this is true, or I want to believe that this is true, but I don't know why I'm struggling with this, but like, how can I believe that this is true? Is it just an assumption, or is it something that I have to say, okay, I believe or I trust that the maker of this creation must have shown or put or used wisdom and care in this creation, even though it doesn't look like it yet. Go ahead.
That's a right question. Because we have been seeing the examples, and the examples were presented to us and asked us to use our reasoning. If we noticed, the author didn't mention anything about the Quran or we believe in God. No. He didn't use any of this expression, except for a good reason, mentioned the Quran at the very end paragraph, very last paragraph. Of course, we have to use our reason, by looking at the creation and all the examples we've seen. For example, we have to say, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. So the universe must have such a creator who has infinite qualities, so his creation must have infinite varieties as well. I think any human being using his reasoning cannot really argue against it unless somebody says, no, I'm not going to accept that there is a creator or the universe is created. It is happening by itself. That's an alternative for us as well. Can these perfect orderliness in the creation, wise creation, all the qualities we see in creation, possible, is it possible to attribute it to matter itself? So we have to think of the creation in terms of black and white terms. Either it is happening by itself accidentally, or there is a conscious actor behind it. In between, no option. So we are not using any pre-accepted belief at all until the last paragraph. And the last paragraph also presents to us a reasonable explanation, tying up the news of the Quran. But this is the last conclusion. So we understand that even we didn't have any religion, we should wonder about this, but we may not have the solution for it. There is a contradiction in the universe. Everything seems to be perfect, but there are some things I don't like it. That is why I understand the materialist philosophers declare that the problem of evil cannot be solved. I mentioned this before. I don't know, here in this class or somewhere else, there is no problem of evil. Problem of biased attitude. There is a problem of biased attitude. I am not going to accept the possibility that the universe may have a creator. Look at this. Everything seems to be so conscious. So I may question whether the matter can be the source of existence of all these qualities. Does it have a free will? Does it have choice? Can it have wisdom and purpose? But these people say these varieties happened by accident, these materialist philosophers, or interpretation they present us for the existence of this universe. Accidental evolvements or developments happen to be perfect. I am amazed about this irrational, contradictory logic. Accident cannot have free will, cannot choose. If something doesn't have a choose, how can it adapt itself to the universe, to the order? Doesn't have any choice. I mean, accident happened, and the result became perfect. If you can understand this and confirm it really with no biased understanding or conditioning yourself, go ahead. I can't. Everybody is free. You can deny the truth. This is absolutely, everybody is absolutely free to deny the truth. But by denying it, you harm yourself. That's another thing. They may see it, they may not see it, that by denying the conscious creator, they are reducing their life to meaninglessness. Meaningless life they live here. Purposeless life they live here. They live here in order to go into annihilation. Which kind of pleasure they will have? How can they satisfy their feelings? Impossible. But that is their choice. I can't. I can choose this contradictory understanding. That is what I would like to say. It is, how can I make sure? I am sure that is, I am responsible for what my free thinking ability takes me to the conclusion. That is why I feel sure. Otherwise, I cannot have another point of reference. On the other hand, the last paragraph says, for a good reason, I don't think we can go into the third point today, but preparing the minds, readers' minds, to connect themselves to the Quran, which exactly declares what the universe declares and gives a solution for it. Look, universe declares that the universe must have an all-powerful, all-wise, all-knowledgeable, all-merciful, absolutely free, just, absolute just, absolutely justice, just, creator, etc., creator. And when I study the universe, it tells me the same thing. I must have a source of existence who must have these qualities. Now, hand in hand, of course, the Quran brings us and speaks us through the language of the Creator. My Creator answers my questions. Rely me, trust me. I am your owner. I am going to give you death in order to let you experience another spring in your life. That is how I am demonstrating it in the world. That's what the Quran says. Gives examples of this kind of creation in the world, being an evidence to the qualities of its creator. And at the same time, Quran says, look at the universe, you will see which kind of creator I am, and I will put my trust in the creation. So, why the Quran is brought here? Because the Quran will say even further, not only I am speaking to you, but I am going to send you an example who will transmit this message to you, at the same time practice it in the form of a human being within his own context. So look for him as a best example, educated, prepared by me, just to teach you how my message, alongside with the message of the universe, will help you and understand, be satisfied, and live in this world according to your capacity, so that you will be satisfied perfectly. Because otherwise, look, all the philosophers are trying to understand the best way of life in this world. But mostly materialist ones say, you have to satisfy yourself. You have to satisfy yourself. How? Until you die, try your best. Good luck. Have a good journey. So do this, try this, try this. Of course, we don't have a criterion. So we will really see the best example and say, no, this is the example I should follow. He practiced it in his life. I have to bring it to my life now. But principles of his practice must be transferred. I am emphasizing on this because third point is going to be about the necessity of the prophet. So the author is preparing our mind because in the argument, he will present in the third point that everything is beautifully created. But before coming to this conclusion, we need a training, education. Really, everything is beautiful. In the second point, this subject is dealt with. We have to make sure first, before speaking to anyone, you need a prophetic example. The people say, why? Isn't my human feeling, aren't my human feelings enough? Why should I need an example? Teacher, I can find out myself. Nowadays people say, okay, I can use artificial intelligence. No, I just learned it, how to use it practically. So how can I really be in need of something? This this web page or whatever site is enough for me. I can solve. But artificial intelligence collects the information from people's information, put in the database. So it is using the already human productions there. So we cannot go beyond the limitations of human capacity to the capacity of the creator, that who will teach me how to make my life in the best way. In order to go into this subject, our minds need to be satisfied in the creation that takes place in this world. The way it is created is perfect. Although I may not like it on because of my temporary expectations, very narrow self-centric analysis about something, although they are definitely small in proportion of the whole creation, 2%, 3%. But ultimately we die. That is 100%. No exception there. So even if everything was excellent, I don't want to lose this excellent life, but at the end I die. So I have to get out of this contradiction and understand that the Creator is a conscious being, creates everything with absolute wisdom, and it has a purpose to teach you that you need a point of reference in your life, who is the Creator. Now the Creator is providing for you the message, instructions, and also an instructor, practical instructor, in order to go into the need for prophet or prophethood, this messengership, institution of prophethood. We have to understand that whatever the Creator of this universe does is perfect, although temporarily I don't like it. That is the main problem. The people are struggling about the problem of evil, so-called problem of evil. That is why it blocks. If it is not solved and understood perfectly, you cannot accept God, you cannot accept prophet, you cannot accept the message of God. You are just desperate in being in a desperate, hopeless situation. I cannot get out of this world, and this world is going to kill me with no purpose, and I will become annihilated, non-existent, and the end result of my life will be zero. Nothing is left. Purposeless, meaningless life. So, inshallah, we appreciate the people's questions and concerns about why these bad things are happening in the world. It is a good question. It needs to be solved. And then definitely we have to prepare our mind to realize that the Creator does everything with a perfect wisdom and perfect purpose in order to educate and let me know who I am in this world. And then this Creator must speak to me, guide me. How can I make most of my life in this world? And also, this Creator must send me an example teacher who will teach me how to put it into practice. These chains of thinking, problem of evil must be solved, and then Creator must be acknowledged, and then Creator must take care of my needs in this world as well, and give me a clear-cut explanation, and send me a messenger, which is the instructor, teacher, how to practice this message into my practical life, how to practice it in my life. These chains of thinking needs to be taken into account, and we should never, ever talk to anyone about God, anyone talk to anyone about religion. These are all practically irrational thinking, not thinking in the right way, and groundless, without any foundation, baseless. That is why people don't accept religion, because religion is not presented to them in a reasonable way, acceptable way, according to human nature. Sorry, it was a long talk, I know, but we have to prepare our mind for the next week, inshallah. Thank you very much. So we won't say why this third point here, they are separate matters. No, they are interrelated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll stop here. But before I stop, any questions or reflections? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.